Hi students. Okay, so we're now on lesson 3, which is planning a healthful meal. And so just like in lesson 2, I was talking about, making sure that we are, creating a healthy eating plan. And so like what some of those things you should be getting, recommendations on certain amount of foods that you should be getting from, each, group from my plate. But no matter what, though, healthful eating is a positive health behavior, and it can promote health and definitely prevent you from getting diseases. So again, high blood pressure, possibly high cholesterol, even down to type 2 diabetes. So, and also the U.S. Department of Agriculture, which is known as the SDA, they put out guidelines for us to, help us with healthy eating and some of those activities that we should be doing in our life. So what they've told us, so like tips on what we should be doing. So we really need to be focusing on our fruits and vegetables. And in our fruits and vegetables, we need, so it says, make fruits and veggies half of what you eat at each meal. So when you are sitting down, whether it's at breakfast, it's at lunch and dinner, half of those should be coming from fruits and vegetables. Okay, the more dark greens and yellowy orange veggies are better for you, just based on the nutrients that are inside of it. Always have some fruit at breakfast, and even keeping baby carrots, cut up veggies on hand for a snack. Usually we'll buy some at the grocery store, cut them up, stick them in my fridge in a plastic bag. So anytime I'm hungry, instead of like going to grab junk food, it's right there for me to eat and snack on. Making half of your grains whole grains. So we have grains and whole grains. Whole grains are better for you. If you can look at this bottom right hand corner picture, the stamp, the yellow stamp, that is on a lot of like actual grain products, like breads, for example. Like this will be on there, like pastas. You really want to look for this stamp because it means that you're going to get a whole grain in there. And so these are better products for you than just your normal typical bread. So if you can find one with these, this is a healthier choice in the end. So anytime you're going to make a sandwich, you want to use this type of bread. Okay, brown rice instead of white rice is also better because it's going to have that whole grain in there that you want. We also need to make sure that we're getting calcium-rich foods. So it's like your milks, okay? You can get that in cheese as well. Get it from your smoothies, your yogurts. Usually I'm a yogurt person, so not everybody likes yogurt, but I love yogurt, and so every day for lunch it's all I'm eating. So it's really, really good. Another thing is that you're wanting to choose low-fat proteins. So if you're looking at this picture, these are some good recommendations for you. Nuts, walnuts, almonds, avocados are really good. I usually cut those up and put them in my salad. Some people don't like those either, but I love them. They're really good. Tuna is really good as well. So we're going to learn more about looking at this label here in lesson 5, but we really want to hone in also on the amount of sodium. When we say sodium, that's talking about your salt intake. So try to limit that, as well as how much sugars you're getting. If you're getting really high, high type of sugars in there, that's not always a good thing either, but just check for that. Try to limit your amount of intake on salt and sugars. You want to make sure, like, breakfast is like one of your most important meals of the day, because while you're sleeping, your body is actually using energy. And so depending on what time you go to bed and what time you wake up in the morning, that's a long time where your body has exerted lots of energy and yet you haven't taken any nutrients in. So, your body needs to recharge, it needs to refuel. So getting those nutrients in for the breakfast is very important. Now, I'm a type of person that doesn't like to eat right away when I wake up, and I know some of you will be the same way, especially with school getting so early. I usually bring my breakfast with me to school, and depending on obviously your teachers, maybe they will allow you to eat, in class, maybe a granola or a banana, something that's healthy. So, either way, you need to be getting something in there to like jumpstart your day. And then packing a healthy lunch. Now, school lunches, while they can be okay, they're probably not as going to be as nutritious for you as if you were to pack it, and if you were to pack it the correct way. Okay, it's time consuming, but you're going to get the nutrients, the good nutrients if you're, packing it correctly. So what to consider when you're packing your own school lunches. Again, you want to look at your whole grain wheat breads that we just talked about for your sandwiches. Make sure you're getting like leafy lettuce, okay? I always get like a spring mix of some sort for the salads, but leafy lettuce for sure. Tomatoes, cucumbers, nuts and cheese. Look at dressings. Dressings can be really very fattening, so you want to look for that fat-free dressing. Cheese sticks and yogurts are really good. Be careful with your yogurts though. Sometimes not choosing healthy yogurts, sometimes they can add a lot of sugar in there, so you want to really pay attention to the yogurt you're putting in your body. Fruits, apples, grapes, bananas, the list can go on that. And then bottled water, unsweetened fruit juices, or you can buy like a milk at school. Try to not hurt, pop, try to take pop in. It's not a good thing. Stay away from those. And even like Gatorades and Powerades, those can add a little bit of too much sugar in those. Smart snacking throughout your day. Doesn't matter if you're at school or not. Think about what you're putting in your body, because sometimes we have a tendency, and I'm sometimes guilty of this as well, putting things into our body when we're not really hungry, and so we're adding extra, calories to our diet and things like that we don't necessarily need. So what I would do is I would really start thinking about, having something in your fridge for you to snack on that's healthy. So again, maybe cut up vegetables, have fruit on hand, nuts and granolas, like anything like that would be really beneficial. Again, what I was trying to say in this first bullet point is that if you're snacking on potato chips and cookies, well, they might taste good, this would be one of those things that's not a healthy choice, and that's why we want to look for good foods. So fresh vegetables, yogurts, fresh fruits, peanut butter sandwiches with whole grain bread. This bullet point underneath the picture says, remember, if your school has a vending machine, they don't always offer healthy snacks. Most of them actually do not. Maybe sometimes there might be a granola bar in there or something, but for the most part, they're not very healthy. So you want to try to plan ahead, think about where you're going through the day. Sometimes I'll just pack a mini cooler if I know I'm going to be out, just so I have that with me. Keeping food safe. If we leave food out, think about it. At home, as soon as you're done cooking for the night, you always put it in the refrigerator so it doesn't spoil. Same thing with our foods. If we are going to school, we're packing our lunches, maybe we're going on a field trip, we need to make sure that we're being cautious of leaving our food out. Okay, so we need to make sure we're putting freeze packs in there, because it sits out for a while and then it can start developing bacteria and things like that. So, but anyway, so food safety tips, making sure your hands are clean when you're preparing food. You're always washing those with soap and water. You are packing, when you're packing your lunches, making sure that you are separating, raw food to cooked food to ready to eat food. You don't want to have those mixed. Making sure for your meats that you're cooking those all the way through, so you don't get sick as well. There could still be bacteria inside that can get you sick if they're not cooked all the way through. Chill it. Following directions as the packages are stating you to cook it and prepare it. Okay, and when you're in doubt, so meaning, did it spoil? Did it go bad? Maybe you're smelling it, it doesn't smell right. Whenever you're in doubt, just throw it away. It's better to be safe than sorry and eat something than later down the road it's making you sick because it went bad. So there you go.